thought about thinking so much that you thought yourself into a problem that didn't even exist? Let me say that again. Have you ever thought about thinking so much that you thought yourself into a problem that didn't even exist? Well, yeah, if you have, welcome to the wild world of overthinking. Today, we're going to dive into why overthinking is a sneaky villain of sobriety and how we can stop giving it so much power. Welcome to A Spiritual Remedy. My name is Sunshine Daye, and the question is, why do we overthink? Well, people overthink because we believe that thinking harder will lead to a perfect solution, or we fear that making the wrong decision is a possibility. So we overanalyze everything, and we do that to sickness. That and we don't fully trust our higher power, so we try to control every little thing with our minds. Other people overthink because they confuse awareness with obsession. Oh, I'm just being aware. I'm just being aware. No, that's an obsession. It's overthinking. And the bottom line is that we believe that we can think our way into spirituality instead of experiencing spirituality. So here are 5 ways or 5 signs that you might be overthinking or that you might be an overthinker. Now, I want to just kind of put this out there that this is the comedic version. So please take this lightly, but also take it seriously, right? So you might be an overthinker if you rewrite a text message to your sponsor or to a friend like 10 times. Does this sound too desperate? Does this sound too casual? What if they don't reply? Maybe I'll just type, hey, and see if they respond first. Sound familiar? You might be an overthinker if you rethink something that you shared at a meeting or with a friend one-on-one. Did I say too much? Did I say too little? Did I quote? Was my quote correct? Or did I sound spiritual enough? You might be an overthinker if you're doing that. You might be an overthinker if you can't pick a group that you want to belong to because you need the perfect one. What if I commit to this one and then a better home group comes about, or some, different people, I meet different people. What if they don't like me? Well, what if I don't like them? And maybe I need to pray about it for, 6 more weeks, and maybe I can find the right group to, be a part of. Yeah, you might be overthinking. You might be an overthinker if you analyze, let go, and let God, like it's a quantum physics equation, but if I let go, do I still make an effort? Like, how do I know when God is working and when I need to do something? Or does it mean that I just do nothing? Wait. What if I let go too much? You might be an overthinker if you spend more time thinking about the work that you need to do instead of actually getting to it. Well, before I start this key or this step, maybe I should read about it in 3 books and then call spawn. Maybe I need to watch a spiritual remedy podcast before I start on this step or before I embark upon my spiritual practices. Wait. If this sounds like you, don't overthink it. Just keep listening. All right. The downfall of overthinking in sobriety is that we can get this thing that's called paralysis analysis, and we get stuck in our heads about what we should do, and then we take no action, or we are so driven by fear that we make decisions based on fear because we're letting anxiety run the show instead of our faith. And, overthinking puts you in a position where you're not present. There's a lack of being present because you're in your head so much that you actually miss what's happening in real time because you're trapped in the what ifs. And when that happens, ego takes control instead of trusting spirit. Instead of trusting a higher power, you begin to trust your own thoughts. And that's what got you in trouble in the first place. So here are two spiritual practices that are quite easy that will help reduce overthinking. This one is kind of called like the 3-second rule. So let spirit speak first. So when you have a decision, or there's something that you need to make a decision about, instead of analyzing it for hours, just take a deep breath and count to 3. And in that counting to 3, say, spirit, speak first. And then, make a choice. Make a choice. What this does is it teaches you and it teaches us to trust our intuition, to trust that still small voice within us that is our higher power, that is spirit, that is infinite intelligence, and know that this first thought comes from this power, this presence that is indwelling, that is the solution to all of your daily living problems. When you start thinking about it over and over again, all those subsequent thoughts, they're coming from fear. And you don't want to make decisions based in fear. The other spiritual practice is, what's the next loving thing? And by that, I mean, instead of obsessing over everyday details and situations, just ask yourself, what's the next loving step that I can take in this moment? What's the next loving thing that I can do in this moment? And this immediately shifts your energy from fear and control to being present. And you're thinking like, what would love do? What's the next loving thing I can do? And just starting it is just starting there is a great way to stop overthinking, because you're not perfecting anything in your mind. And remember that 95% of our problem is our thinking. So overthinking just exacerbates that 95%. So here's, what you can try in the next 24 hours. Try this as an experiment. Try this all week long. It's simple, but it's powerful. So for the next 24 hours, the next week, if you want to, practice making decisions without overthinking. Instead of analyzing every choice to death, pause, breathe, and ask yourself, what's the next loving thing to do? And as that thought emerges from within you, do that. No second guessing, no reanalyzing, just act, just do it, just trust it, just let it be. And then at the end of the day, like my dear friend Devin says, but did you die? Did you die? In other words, did anything bad actually happen when you trusted instead of overthinking? Or is it possible that things flowed a lot better than what you expected? Journal about it. Write down your experiences and share it with a trusted friend or someone that you know. And over time, this simple practice builds the muscle of trusting spirit over that hamster that's spinning around in that wheel in your brain. At the end of the day, beloveds, we overthink because we trust our thinking more than we trust God. But here's the truth. Our best thinking led us to the mess we were in, and the mess that we're sometimes in today. Recovery, well, it teaches us that our minds alone cannot save us. Education alone cannot save us. Intellect alone cannot save us. Thinking is 95% of the problem, but spirit can save us. So let's stop trying to think our way into freedom and instead live our way into trust. If you have found this beneficial, or if you want to continue the conversation, be sure to write to me, vida@vidaslc.org. And like always, A Spiritual Remedy is here to provide spiritual tools and loving care and support for your transformation. Until the next time, know that right where you are, spirit is, and that you are whole, perfect, and complete.